Today I tried 8 unreleased games on Steam and I made a tier list about them. Now I used to love demo CDs back in the day of PlayStation 2 games and Xbox games, and I remember specifically there was this Skate 1 demo that if you were going forwards into a fence, the barrier where the demo limits are, if you're going forwards into the fence, you could actually pause the game, rewind backwards, and then resume the game, and it would have unloaded the fence and you could get to the other side and continue playing the outside the demo as if it was a normal game. I actually dug around to try and find my demo CD, but I couldn't find it in my house. So I looked around on the internet, and then I realized there's actually like hundreds of demo CDs for the PlayStation 2. So I'm never gonna find the demo that I used to play. No. Anyways, let's start with the gambling-like games. For example, Please Spin. I always like gambling games since I don't gamble in real life.
Say wallahi, bro. Say wallahi.
And this one bears close resemblance to another one that I really like called Clover Pit. The premise is basically you spin the wheel, and the spots that you get on the wheel either add points, subtract points, or multiply your points in the end. And you have to reach a goal, and if you don't reach it, you lose. The game also has like the trinkets that you can get to upgrade how many points you get, how many multipliers you can get. It has a very close resemblance to Clover Pit. I think it was inspired by it, even though it's from a different developer. But it's still very simple. I think it's a little bit of a development version that they decided to put out as a demo so people could try the game out. And I think I would put it on B. I think it's a good average, a game that's still in development, has some replayability, and I think it's a good average to set for the rest of the table. The next game I like is called O.B.O.L. There it is, John O.B.O.L. I'm a little bit of a game developer, and I've always liked the idea of having some sort of game where you flip a coin and that's all that you do, and somehow to make that fun. I think that's what O.B.O.L did. It's inspired by Buckshot Roulette in terms of the graphics, the overall system of the game. When you boot up the game, you are presented with a man underwater, sitting at a table inside of what looks to be a Subnautica 1 base that was abandoned to play Subnautica 2. The man tells you the result of the 4 to 7 next coin flips, but not the order they happen in. Very similar to Buckshot Roulette. And then you take turns guessing the coin flips. I like games like this, because you can always try to calculate what the next flip is going to be, what the next result is going to be, if you keep track of it. There seems to be a little bit more about this game when it actually comes out, because you can walk around the cabin and there's little clues everywhere. There seems to be a closet with items and stuff that maybe are released in the full game. I realize some people might want to see more of the game, so on the second channel I'll put a long play of all of the games in one video so you can browse through and skip around to see what the games are actually like. I rate this game an A. It has a really appealing style and it has a lot of replayability. Well, I mean, there's no items, but you can just keep playing the game over and over again. See if you can speedrun it, I guess. And the gambling has some strategy too. To continue the trend of games that are inspired by other games, let's talk about Rebirth, Denied, Protocol. This game's heavily inspired by games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, the original ones for the PlayStation 1 and 2. In this game, you control David, a cop who is sent to find out why some people are disappearing just outside of town. You get to this warehouse or industrial facility that you break into, and when you reach the entrance, you get knocked out. You then wake up inside of the building. After exploring the building, you find an abandoned medical facility under the sewer hatch. And this medical facility has been rebirthing people. Which turns out, it actually just means that everyone's zombies when they get rebirthed. or slaves, one of the two, you never know. And now you have to find a way out, or some cure, I don't know. The demo is not very long. I was actually liking this demo quite a bit. I'm not very good at handling these horror games, but it was interesting, the little puzzles and stuff. I initially didn't like the tank controls, but I understand it's inspired by the old games, and the camera movement, since it's like always changing places, you kind of have to have a control system that isn't associated with the camera and more associated with the character, where the position is and how he's rotated. One problem is that I don't think there's enough ammo, alright? There's so many zombies, and I had like 8 bullets for so long, and then I had 2 bullets, and then I had no bullets. I was running past zombies because I didn't know what to do, and that came to bite me in the ass in the end. I'd rate this game an A. It was actually very accurate to the PS1 era, like horror adventure type game, and the story actually kept me going for a long time. Now let's talk about the worst game after this quick message from our sponsor. Hey, it's me again. I just came over to tell you that I actually don't have a sponsor for my video, but I did make Wikistocks, and I thought you should check it out. Alright? It's free, completely free, no microtransactions. It's like a stock trading platform, but it's based on Wikipedia view statistics. Basically, how many views a Wikipedia page has equals to how much the stock price is at, alright? You see what I mean? Just fun, alright? Give it a try. There's no microtransactions, alright? It's completely free. It's just for fun, alright? Anyways, continuing with the video. This is good for me? Is this a good perspective for me? Perspective. The worst game in the bunch was called Hollow Ground. Hollow Ground's inspired by some Flash games that were like arcade top-down, like twin-stick shooters, I guess you could say, where you earn points and go through levels. You get to pick between 4 characters that have different weapons and different abilities, and you run around these levels collecting credits, and the credits you can spend between levels to get different abilities, more HP, heals, whatever. I think this game really kept to its roots by being like so like arcade type Flash game that I don't think I enjoyed it because of that. I feel like the last one really adapted some of the stuff to make the game more enjoyable on a modern system. So I can't say that I enjoyed my time on this one, and I really didn't get hooked. I think I only played like 8 minutes of this game. But look, it has one good point, guys. It's the smallest game on the list. It's 100 megabytes, I think, or something like that, which is still larger, like 5 times larger than the typical Flash game. So yeah, that sets the standard for what our D is at the bottom. Now from the worst to perhaps the best game on the list, ReStory. Imagine you just opened up a small repair shop in the middle of your town, and you have to pay bills, rent, all that stuff, and all the stress that comes with it. But it's all worth it because you're repairing these little devices that everyone uses inside your town in the early 2000s. ReStory puts you in that dream world. There's memorable characters to talk to and devices that look familiar to ones you've probably had in real life, like the PNP, the Autorola. Come on, that's just a Motorola Razr. Come on, just don't lie to us. There's a nice background tune with the little radio of chill beats to listen and study to, and repair to, obviously. And you can just tune out and just immerse yourself in the little world that game has, and make friends with those customers, and learning bit by bit how these devices assemble together, ordering parts from online so you can fix devices better. This game made me forget I was actually reviewing games, and I played it for like, I don't know, like an hour. And then I realized, wait a second, I still have to review 5 more games after this one. It was just so beautifully crafted, and it comes together so well. And I don't really know when the demo is supposed to end. Hey, I actually played the demo to the end, and it lets you continue playing in endless mode. So that was crazy work by the developers. ReStory easily goes on the S tier category. It's really hard to beat such a beautiful game. And please, I invite you to try it out. I recently got my driving license at 27 years old. So let's talk about Over the Hill. Now, I've seen a few Jeeps in the mud, alright? A few little off-roading vehicles in the trenches, alright? And I've always wondered what it's like to get out of that trough. You know, when you're stuck down in the trenches, inside of all the mud, when your wheels are just so buried and you get deeper and deeper, how do you get out? You know what I mean? In Over the Hill, you drive a off-road vehicle through whatever path you want to get up to the mountain. It's that simple. The game lets you do whatever you want. That's not what I meant to do! Thank you, Morgan. Actually, that's huge. It has these cabins you find that are like fast travel points, so that you can get from this side of the map to another. And there's also some NPCs that let you buy some cosmetics, change your car, upgrade your car, all that stuff. I flipped over. I think overall, Over the Hill is just a really relaxing experience to play. I think there's also multiplayer for 4 players, but I'm not entirely sure because I didn't actually try. Future Pedro here. I actually tried the multiplayer after I recorded this bit, and I've got to say this game's a lot better when you're playing with your friends. It's almost like Peak, but you're driving cars. It's just so much fun. Honestly, it would almost elevate this game to an S. I rated it an A, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Now for a strategy game, Dust Front RTS. This game is inspired by the Command & Conquer series in terms of the gameplay. You build buildings and structures and units so that you can tier up in your technology so you can build better units overall. And then you pick up all your army and you go blow up the enemy base. I actually struggled quite a bit at the start of this game because I didn't look at any of the trailers for the games that I was gonna play. I actually played some really bad games as well. They're probably gonna be in the long play. But then I caught up fast enough for the AI not to just destroy me. I think this demo is a pretty good preview of what the game is going to be. It doesn't have a story mode. It just has a skirmish with the AI. And I think it does shine a lot. I think there's a lot of replayability. I played it for like an hour and I don't know, like 10 minutes probably, just playing against the bots. One match, because I was having so much fun. I was just making so many howitzers, so many tanks. Oh my god, the artillery is so fun just seeing it. And then the fucking planes come in. That was so fire. I actually really like this game. I think I'm gonna put it on the A tier. I'm only not gonna put it on the S tier because I think if it included a bit more, it could have been an S. There's this skill bar where you have like, you can summon planes and reinforcements, but you can't really customize it in the demo. But then I can't really ask that of a demo, right? It's not a full game. So I'll just leave it at A tier for now. For the last one on the list, we have Dreadline EXPRESS. You know the Snowpiercer movie? The one that every last human is on a train and they're going through the snow and they can't stop the train because then it gets cold and they can't start the engine again and they all die. The premise of this game is actually pretty similar. You're a passenger on a train that's going through this Lovecraftian horror world and you get to talk to the other passengers on the train, just learn about their lives, what they did before that, and you get to talk to the other passengers in a pretty interesting way. Every piece of knowledge that you learn, it turns into a card. And then you can use those cards in the conversation. Basically, when you initiate the conversation, you pick what cards you want to start the conversation with. It's a really interesting way to do dialogue and choices without actually being too intrusive on like the game menus and stuff. In the game, you start in your train cabin, but you don't know who you are. You look around the cabin trying to find some clues for your memories, for your past, using the light of the candles to look under the seats and look closer to the carvings on the table until you find a note at your door. You have been called by the train conductor as a sacrifice. You involuntarily go to the train conductor's cabin and the beast disappears before you can get there. You have been lucky to survive until the next lottery. The lore for this game actually seems pretty interesting, and talking to the other passengers on the train, you really get a feel for this world and you start to absorb all these things and it becomes so immersive, the little experience of the train. Unfortunately, the demo ended really quickly. It was like 40 minutes, but I was so locked in on the story, I was so immersed, and then it just ends. I'm just like, no. I would put this demo at a very high B tier. It shows a lot of promise, but the demo has no replayability. I always like when a demo, you can just replay the demo over and over again. I mean, that's what I did as a child, you know? But once you know all the story points, it's just like, why am I gonna play the demo again? Anyways, that's it. That's all the 8 games. I hope you liked the tier list. I hope you can agree with all my choices. Obviously, these are the correct choices. I also played completely trash games, like F tier, below F tier, completely trash. And I think I'll put those in the long play because I ended up recording all of it. So I'm gonna put that in the long play video on the second channel, and I'll leave links in the description for all the games I tried as well as Wikistocks. Don't forget to check out Wikistocks, alright? Has my hair looked like that the whole time? Fucking hell. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Boom! And that's what we call a video done. Actually, I have a little bit more to record. How much time do I have on the tape? I have 5 minutes on the tape. Alright, perfect.